everyone, and welcome back to my rusty RP-1 playthrough. So we have some stuff. We successfully recovered our Orca test flight. I think we're going to have to skip our Vesta window because we're going to be too busy doing these things. So much building. That gets warped. 1963 orbital rocketry in 23 days. What does that give us? Let's check. The E1, how nice. And a delicious LR79 upgrade. Let's find out what it can do. We're on the Dash 11, we want the Dash 13. Slightly more thrust, a hair more specific impulse. But the important thing, it's 868 and 290. But the important thing is where's the test flight config? Burn time, 4 minutes and 20 seconds. So we can finally have a long burning core. Which is good news with solid boosters or liquid boosters or other things. Now the other interesting thing about it, it's 868 kilonewtons of thrust. Oh yeah, I've basically ignored, because I took the X405, the XLR50, I basically ignored the Agena engines, XR89s. Right, I was going to check. 947 versus 868, so... yeah, 296, and what was the E1? 290. Yeah, so we're going to stay with H1s, I guess. Hey, Specimen Spiff. So we're actually slightly lacking for science right now, because we could get that, we could get all these things. So yeah. Oh well. Yeah. We could send a quick mission to the moon, except for the fact that we're sort of busy building rockets right now. And we're going to get some more solids. And then we're going to have a node that unlocks instantaneously. Another one. And Now we're coming up on that fine tune. And training is almost done, which means then they can spend another 3 months, 4 months, 4 months training for missions. And we're going to launch missions very nearly back to back. So we're going to go ahead and I guess manually warp until that's close. Okay. No, stupid thing. Vestment Swift, that confuses me. Wouldn't you want the LR-101 on the second stage to give the second stage roll control? Because the first stage has two LR-79s. It doesn't need any roll control. Yes, LR-79's gimbal. And the LR-105, if you only have one of them on the second stage, it doesn't have any roll control unless you give it RCS or the 101. Oh, okay. You should check into the delta V penalty of giving that stage RCS versus just giving it an LR-101. How tiny is Ceres? Ceres is very tiny. It's not as tiny as... Yeah. All right. Let's come in at 30 kilometers, because why not? And as usual with these things, MaxJab's prediction of when to do it from far away is different from its prediction now. So since if I figured right, because it's one of those Arabeath kick stages, so it won't have onboard. Yeah, no, that makes your LV design makes sense. Although I would expect you to do better with an AJ10 there, but maybe not. All right, what's that? All right, that will do. Although why we're coming in polar like that. All right, so we have the spare delta V such that we can do a correction once we're in the SOI where it will be cleaner. All right. Or we could just do that. That works too. Let's add, oops, SOI transition, 432 days. Looking good. So it's less that's less Atlas than Titan with Atlas engines. That's very much Titan with Atlas engines. It seems to be what literally everybody does for their 10-foot launcher. Let's fix that issue. All right. Now we're looking at 13 days for you. Okay. There. Now it's time for some more training. Mission, Gemini. So, flight 1 will be... Oh, we don't have enough for a full suite, do we? And... So, for our first EVA, we were going to do Bobby Carter, I think was going to do our EVA. And let's... Peter Lowe, and we need one more. So we'll have one backup in case one gets sick, quote unquote. Takes 71 days. Oh, that's much faster than I feared. I forgot that it's the 3/4 thing because we upgraded the complex, so it's not the listed time. So that's awesome. So they're going to go. And we're still quite a few days from one of these things being ready. So we're actually going to wait to start the mission training for the team that will go to the moon for a little bit longer. Yeah, 90 days, which is 3/4, but then it's further reduced because these are very smart astronauts. We'll add an alarm. This will take 15 days to roll out. We're going to rename it Orca-1. I'm going to rename this Orca-2. And that's 71 days. We're going to get this thing built. So yeah, I think we need to do something about E1s because although it's like historically correct that they went with H1s rather than the E1s for a reason, because H1s were super cheap. And if you look at their specs, they're basically equivalent to half an E1 for less than half the cost. So why would you use an E1? So we might have to think about whether our specs for the E1 are correct on everything else. For example, I find it hard to imagine that an H1 is actually literally less than half the cost of an E1. I would expect it more like 2/3, but don't know. Specimens 5, MechJeb will correct for whatever your current vessel situation. The point of PVG is that it's stateless guidance. It calculates what you should do at any given instant given your current state, not any prior stuff. The problem is it will not fly an optimal ascent because it doesn't know that you're going to do that. Hey, Glowfish. And that's the problem with Atlas, because it flies the ascent for, it thinks what you're going to do, which is burn all the engines. It doesn't realize you're going to drop one. All right. So let's warp to a thing. All right, and that's going to open up a bunch more things, and we still don't have any science. Oh, it makes me sad. Plankton 2 will complete. That's still in 58 days. All right, so let's $72 million to roll that thing out. That's impressive. Oh, Blowfish, I'm not talking about the unlock cost. I'm talking about the per unit cost. The unlock cost should be very high because it was a from scratch. But it's hard to believe that. Well, let's pay that cost. So where were we? So this is 200 funds for 947 kilonewtons at 255, 289. The E1, by contrast, is 1,300 funds for ever so slightly more than double the thrust. A second or two higher specific impulse. Quite a high unlock cost, even with shared stuff. 1.2647 tons versus 0.636. Yeah, I think we need to, because I think we reduced the H1 cost based on data, but we never reduced the E1 cost. So the E1 should probably cost about 350 funds. But yeah, it would start less reliable than an H1 for sure. $375, given the LR79 is already that. I don't know. It's just the H1 is so freaking cheap. It's just, it's a god. The H1 is impressive. All right, so let's warp. The time is flying by. It's April 1961. 18 days until training is done. Oh, shoot. Shoot. I forgot to start training for the lunar shot. So, yeah, there's going to be a slight delay, which is really annoying. But it means if there's something wrong with that launch, we can maybe have a shot. Oh, and let me add the alarm to that. Yeah, we'll see how long that takes to roll out. It will not take another 35 days to roll out. So I think we lost about 10 days. But that's okay. All right. Let's Okay, here we go. So we're going to launch Plankton. All right, Edward Jennings finally retired. That was expected. That was broadly expected. So let's go ahead and launch Plankton. Plankton 2, as it happens. Badger Masher, if you know of any such sources, let us know, because we sure don't know any of them. Okay, and we're going to go to we'll just do a standard 100 nautical mile orbit. What the heck? We'll keep the pitch program as it is, because this thing is a hot ship. for sure. Right, let's go. Oh, I forgot about auto stage with clamps, so oh well. Blowfish, we use Bayesian distribution. We add 1 to the numerator and 2 to the denominator. So there's always a slight chance. Yeah, but I'm not sure an H1 did ever fail. I mean, I presume one of them failed during static testing, but... Yes. This is indeed a fairly hot ascent. Okay. 10 seconds. All right, down under 2 kilopascals dynamic pressure. That's nice. We stayed mostly aligned. Always nice. Solar panels didn't get ripped to shreds. That's nice. So, 2 kilopascals is 2,000 pascals, which is let's see. Actually, fairly shockingly high. Yeah, so probably shouldn't have had those exposed solar panels at 2 kilopascals pressure, but that's fine. We'll be fine. It's got a snout. Dooby dooby doo. Dooby dooby doo. 2 km sec to go. Is it blocked? I guess it's blocked. It's blocked. Okay, that's why. Okay. There we are. That's some pretty good solar. So everything says we have a good orbit. And we're gaining power. We're net positive by 40 watts. That's good. So, sweet. Let's go meet it. All right. Here we go. Is that a pilot? All right, everybody. Let's do this. We're doing an EVA. We're doing a rendezvous. Oh. Oh, oh, oh. Ah. Shoot, I should have taken that other contract, but that let me complete it by itself, but that's fine. However, I kind of want lower our outs on these because we don't have all the delta V in the world, and we're going to have to use some of it to rendezvous. That's saner. And we lose $20 million, but that's fine. It's still going to be cheaper. If we really wanted to save on delta V, we could take this launch to 185 by 400 and then use the other thing to rendezvous with us, but that feels kind of not in the spirit of the contract. All right, let's do this. And we wanted to add Piccolo. Hey, Pap. Okay. So, we are back doing human spaceflight. We have quite a bit of delta V up here, so we don't have to worry about rendezvous or contracts or anything like that. I forgot that we could get almost the whole loadout. This confuses me slightly. Why is the staging screwy? These supposed to be down here, pretty sure. Those retros. What the heck are those? They like ullage motors? Oh, they're ullage motors. But we're gonna hot stage, I think. Yes. There's plankton too. "21 hours. How far away is plankton 2 going to be when we start our ascent? It's on the opposite side. I think we want to go to something like 400. And away we go. Return to flight. Plankton was my docking target from before when I had a dolphin, which are also meat eaters. Yeah, I should have picked like some actual serious business kind of fish that an orca would eat. But hey, it's not going to eat the thing. It's just going to kiss it. And we want to set that to 0.4. Why do I have no Kerbal pictures? Did I turn them off? Maybe I turned... There are people inside. I must have just turned them off. Oh, I think I don't have any IVAs, which is why. Pap, what's the name of the kid from Free Willy? Is it that? Because that would likely be my guess of what your reference is. It just so happens that you and I are basically the same age, so probably going to get those references. I guess you're like a few months older than me. Oh, interesting. It looks like we're going to have to finish circularization on the capsule. Oh, because we're going to 400, so that's why. Huh. Do I have a gap there? If I do, it doesn't really matter. Lighting the second stage. There we go. Oh man, it looks like we're going to have to burn a good chunk of that stage, of the capsule to do that. Interesting. Wouldn't have thought that that was... so problematic. Yeah, I would have figured that we'd actually have enough capability in this launch vehicle. Yeah, that puts me in elementary school. Yeah, so 250 meters per second off that stage, off the service module. Man, I really underestimated how much delta V it would take to do this, to go to 185 by 400 on this launch vehicle. It always looks like a sad face. Let me guess, yep, that's EVA. Not gonna happen. Blowfish, you always insert at perigee. Why is that counting down still? I would have thought that its solution would have converged, given that we're now without atmosphere. Blowfish, no, it doesn't. It's more that this launch is more expensive than I thought it would be. It's more that this launch vehicle just has a slow burn to orbit, and so it's going to cost a lot. Oh, no, I know why. Because I turned the pumps on. So this is a fully full CSM, not the CSM that I had underfueled so that I could launch it. That's why. That's why. Yeah, because I think it started with 1,500 meters per second. Yeah, it did, and then I turned the pumps on and it went up to 1956. So yeah, we're trying to push more than we can into orbit. NorCal Planner, this is doing an EVA, a rendezvous, and the two-person with maneuvers contract. It's burning a slightly different mixture. I believe it's like 38.21 and 38.2% kerosene in each case. RCS to on. We're actually going to be quite good on delta V expended. And here we go. Happy little service module. Happy little Orca. It now has its docking nose exposed. So we're actually going to change this to 300 for now. And we can always change our phasing orbit to 400 if we need to, just to see where things are. Man, we did 8,900 expended to orbit, despite that thrust-weight ratio. So that was actually quite a good ascent. No, we don't want to use upper RCS, because we don't have a ton of RCS propellant, actually. Yeah, in fact, probably I should have more RCS on this than I do. But that's okay. So, step one, let's do an EVA. Let's get some science. EVA report. Keep experiment. Oh, need to write a little plugin so that you can't, so that you're tethered, and later you get to research flight packs. That would be cool if you started out tethered. All right, let's transmit that. It's quite a lot of data. While it's transmitting, I'm going to go ahead and so Lamont, how do I actually use this thing? Because this seems to be pretty counterintuitive. So heretofore, I've just done it like that to get the old thing back. 1 day, 22 hours. All right, so we have plenty of delta V. Let's extend out our phasing orbit. That cut it down a day. We have the delta V to burn. Let's increase it even more. $14 hours. 0.2 meters per second. I like that. I guess I nailed my phasing. That's amazing. Somehow I lucked out with something that meant I'm exactly in phase. So we'll keep that. Did the transmission complete? Let's see. I wasn't paying attention. So we got the crew count record. We'll have a 3-day duration record. And we transmitted it, so we just have to return. So let's go ahead and do that. Do the warp to the maneuver. Okay. Oops. Great. All right, we'll just manually do this. Oh. Right. That gives a pretty chunk of change. Doobie-doobie-doo. Let's check our reserves. Everything's looking fine. Electric charge. We're using up an awful lot of it. Oh shoot, I can't fly the lunar mission yet because we don't have electricity. Why did I... What was I thinking? I forgot that part. Shoot, I thought I built this thing to have enough electricity, but I think I did not. Let's look at TAC-LS. How are we doing here? We still have 13, just shy of 14 days of food and plenty of everything else. All right. It's not counterintuitive. I was just asking what I should set up to do this thing, because even though I am intercepting, even though I am doing, like, yeah, I think it might make sense if it defaulted to those options. Like, all right, let's. But that, see, that still only created the. Didn't that only create one node? I'm not sure what that even does. Yeah, that only created one node. I'm not seeing how that's different. So what's the difference then if it only creates one node? Okay, now let's warp to maneuver. Oh, so right, it will minimize your arrival velocity, is what you're saying. Your relative velocity at arrival. It's amazing that this came so close. All right, we'll get within 32 meters. That seems fine. All right. Now let's match velocities with target at closest approach. About 100 meters per second. That's broadly expected. Oh, right, because you're not doing... Right, because you wouldn't be doing advanced transfer not a planet in stock. You'd just be doing a Hohmann transfer or something. You'd eject and then do a Hohmann transfer because stock is insane. Right. Okay. We'll align. Okay. We'll get a bit closer. Good that this is happening on the light side. Basically everything that can be going right is going right so far. So let's get nice and close. Okay, so we want target Rvel minus. All right. Just stop moving. All right, now we'll come target plus. Okay. Okay, we'll close at 1 meter per second. I can see the stage. We'll target the docking ring. Switch to locked mode. Okay, so we're going to have to come in front of it and not ram into it. Okay, so the RCS is decently balanced here. Oh, I didn't install docking the docking target indicator Navy fishes thing, whatever the heck it's called. I can never remember what it's called. So we're gonna have to do this the old-fashioned way. Yeah, that's the front the docking drogue on the Gemini Agena target vehicle. All right, I think we're just about aligned now. How are we doing? Not super far off, but we need to come up a little bit. Uh-oh. Okay. Slow down a little bit. Okay. Let's see how that works. That looks about right to me. Yep. Docked. Looky that. First docking. All right. So on that happy note, I think I'm going to call it quits. So thank you everybody for watching. And that was way easier than I expected, but I will say, like, before you give me all the plaudits, that was easier than docking usually is. But my RCS was actually quite balanced because I took some pains to do that. And yeah, apparently I'm not as rusty as I feared because that worked real well. Right. So thanks everybody for watching, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.